Happy GA Flashback Friday, TGIF. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, wonderful, magical start to your weekend. I've had better. I had a really rough night, so like pardon my like ratchetness or whatever this is. Like I just be lucky you're getting a video today, in all honesty. I had a night terror kind of spring up on me out of nowhere, and I as a result fell out of bed and hit my head, and now I have a nice little goose egg back here. So I think I'm slightly concussed, and my shoulder is a little bruised, and it was just bad. I couldn't breathe, and it was just a disaster. And so that resulted in me being up all night, or for the majority of the night, and sleeping very little, and I am just exhausted, but I'm still going to bring you guys a video because I would need to be bleeding from my eyeballs in order for me not to be doing a video, because no one needs to see that. It would take a lot more than a stupid little night terror to not have me do a video for you guys. But all that aside, other than that, my week was fantastic. I had a really awesome birthday. You guys made me feel incredibly special, and it was so much fun to be able to kind of flip the script a little bit and return the favor and celebrate with all of you guys for Walter's birthday yesterday. It was just a lot of fun, and I enjoyed being able to like instantly give back all of the love that I got, and so I wanted to make that day special for him because he works really hard to make this family run smoothly and stay happy and not full of drama, and so it's only fitting that we give him like all of the mad love in the world. And so I guess we're not allowed like 3 days, good days in a row, because then today happened. So Wednesday was awesome, Thursday was awesome, and then today is crap. But we are not here to talk about birthdays or concussions. We are here for GA Flashback Friday, where we recap a past episode of Ghost Adventures, and today we are at Execution Rock's Lighthouse in Long Island Sound, New York. And as always, I like to give you guys a little bit of history about the location. Now, Execution Rock's Lighthouse is, you guessed it, a lighthouse in the middle of Long Island Sound. It was, during the colonial times, used to punish condemned prisoners. They would take them out, the British would take them out there and chain them to the rocks and basically let them slowly drown as tide came in. And then over time, it became just like, well, just like known that it was nothing good came from this lighthouse. And then also Carl Panzeram, who was quite possibly the most evil man in the history of the world, had taken his victims that he killed in the Sound, and he took them to the lighthouse and basically like dumped their bodies. The lighthouse is no longer, it still works, but it's ran by a solar powered light panel that was put in like the 80s. Prior to that, they had lighthouse keepers that would come in and stay at the lighthouse for a period of time. They would live there. There's like a little house that is attached to the actual lighthouse. And most lighthouse keepers are contracted with the Coast Guard or the government for a minimum of a year. They have to live there. They have to stay there. They can't get out of their contract once they sign it. However, Execution Rock's Lighthouse was the first lighthouse to ever allow a lighthouse keeper to leave at any time due to the possible paranormal activity that took place there. Seriously, who would want that job? Like, unless you are really, really into the paranormal, like, who would want that job? First of all, I would not enjoy it for a multitude of reasons, and it has nothing to do with the ghosts. Fact is, I love water. I love being able to swim and hang out and be on the beach. That being said, I also like to leave the water, and being on a lighthouse, like a island full of ghosts and rocks and aloneness, I'm not down with that. So I personally would not like it. The ghost would be the least of my problems. I think the stranded feeling, like not being able to leave, would suck. And I'm sure that they like had a boat or whatever, but still, like, no. Like, you know, that one time you're going to be freaking the F out and want to leave, and you can't because your stupid boat won't work because the ghosts are pissed off and they're like making your boat not work. I could see it happening. That would be my damn luck. Now, the guys had a lot of fun on this investigation. prior to lockdown, they decided to go fishing for their dinner. And Zach successfully caught a fish this big, right? It was this big, right, Zach? It was this big? Or is it this big? This big? You know, fish stories. But he did catch a fish, and it would have been big enough for them to eat. And Nick went down to help him pick up the fish, and the line snapped. Zach was devastated, and it was hysterical. He was like, we're going to starve now. This is our food. But as you know, they did not starve. They went on and they had like a little barbecue. And it was just cool because it like gave us a little bit more of an insight on how they prepare for lockdown. We don't see a lot of that all the time. And so it was kind of fun to see the guys kind of cut up and have fun and be able to relax a little bit before lockdown and, you know, grill some burgers and hot dogs. And Zach was kind of giving Aaron a little bit of a hard time about letting him prepare his food because Aaron's a really big germaphobe. Like, they have to, like, investigate. When they go to investigations, they not only investigate where they're going, but they also have to investigate, like, the food in the area because Aaron has to know whether or not, like, he has to bring his own food because he's ridiculously picky about what he eats. Like, everything has to be, like, organic and GMO-free, just whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he's one of those people. I love you to death, Aaron, but I'm gonna eat some, you know, nachos and fried chicken, and I don't care if it's GMO free-range freaking chicken. I don't give a crap as long as it's fried and in a bucket, preferably with 3 letters on the side of it that says KFC. So I don't give a crap. It can be organic chicken or it can be I don't care. Like, chickens are yard animals. Like, I don't care. Like, there's no limitations at all for me. But I just think it's really funny that they have to, like, you know, use hand sanitizer and wig out and be weird about, you know, rubber gloves and kind of baby Aaron's food. But anyway, ADD. I'm getting off the point. So, back to the investigation. The guys were the first paranormal team to ever investigate the lighthouse. A couple of others had called, but no one else had showed up. Don't know what that means. Don't know if they backed out because they're scared. Don't know if they backed out because they thought it was a waste of time. But the GEC was the first ones to investigate the lighthouse. Now, going into lockdown, there wasn't a lot that went on. It was a very sporadic lockdown. They did get some evidence. They had their video goggles out, which I love those things. And I think they kind of maybe stumbled upon a death that they maybe didn't know about. On the video goggles, they originally got remote and camera. Remote could have very possibly meant like a remote island. And camera was said kind of when they were shuffling their equipment around, and I were asking the spirit if they thought that if they seen the cameras that the guys were holding. And then they heard a loud bang that they tried to debunk from outside contamination. Obviously, they're around water, birds, animals, boats. You know, they can't control everything, but they could not explain the loud bang that they heard, so they chalked it up to being paranormal as well. Then things kind of started getting crazy. They got, Aaron had taken over the video goggles from Zach, and he got the word drink. And then Nick felt like an energy burst kind of go through him. He kind of had that hair standing up on end feeling. And then Zach got EMF spikes on the EMF detector that was sitting on the floor. Now, the room that they were in, there is no electricity on the island at all. There's one source of power, and it's solar powered. But where they were at, and that's in the Lighthouse Tower. That has nothing to do with in the home where they were at, the old house where the lighthouse keepers used to stay. And so they got an EMF spike, and later on in the show, he shows that he puts like the digital recorder around the box and proves that there's no spikes. And now they're in the same room with the same environment. Nothing has changed, and now the EMF detector is not spiking the way it was. So that's another reason that it could not be replicated, so therefore it was paranormal. And then they got the words Mercury. Now, they went up to the lighthouse, and there was mercury up there. The lights used to have mercury in them. The light bulbs have mercury in them. And so they kind of asked the spirits, you know, did you drink the mercury? Did it get into your water supply? So there could have been maybe a death there, either due by suicide or accidental death due to the mercury poisoning that a spirit was trying to let them know about. Now, the last piece of evidence that they really got that was kind of really interesting that I found really interesting anyway, was they had taken the infrared still camera and they were snapping shots, and Zach was taunting the spirit of Carl Panzeram in case he was there, and kind of like you know, in true Zach fashion, was like, I bet your face is so ugly it's going to break my camera. And sure enough, the camera quits working for like 20 or 30 seconds. And he goes, did I not just say that this thing would break my camera? So, and it quit working and then it started working again. So they had camera malfunctions. Like I said, it was kind of a hit and miss location. It wasn't a very, like, active location. I think it just has an overall creepy feel. Obviously, there is some paranormal activity going on there. It's not boatloads, but it's not a big location. There's not a lot of places for ghosts to go. They went to the rocks and they got a few things, but it's nothing like they experienced in the house. And so, overall, it was a really good episode. Not one of my favorites, but I like it for different reasons other than the paranormal related. I liked being able to see the guys kind of cut loose and have fun and, you know, make fun of each other and poke at each other and just kind of relax before an investigation. I think the location is really, really cool. It's just a really pretty area, and yet it's so haunting and so mysterious. And it's got such a dark history to it that it is just got the potential to be insanely freaking haunted. And whether or not it's insanely freaking haunted is really to be determined. I think that there's something there. There's some paranormal activity there, but as far as like the insanely freaking haunted scale, I don't think it's quite there yet. I think it's got the history, and I think that it's got the spirits. I just don't think they're in, no pun intended, boatloads. But that is all I have for GA Flashback Friday. I will be back on Tuesday for GA QA Tuesday, where I answer all of your Ghost Adventures related questions. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, have a wonderful, magical, amazing weekend. I am going to go rest and relax for a little bit. Much love, guys. Bye!